Thank you for tuning in today to part 2 of the exclusive interview with Pastor Joseph Reaves Jr. and Gail Reaves of the Greater Faith House of Prayer. Make sure you don't go anywhere and check out their website, gfhpchurch.net. Thank you for tuning back in on Up Close, Unplugged, and Uncut today. It's your girl, Shar'e. I hope you have your drinks and your food and your snacks because it is going down. Kicking it live in studio today with the pastor and first lady of Greater Faith House of Prayer. You guys, I know we shared a little bit during commercial break, a little bit of, what goes into being a pastor and a first lady. First Lady Gail, tell me a little bit about your experience and how it is to really branch over from a regular wife to a first lady. Because I'm sure there's a difference.
You don't go to school for this. Right? So, when we knew that we were called to start our church, I just thought everything was just, it was going to be easy breezy.
Yeah.
I never heard any stories, right? So being, I was like, now you're the first lady, and then you have members. And then I still have my personality where I'm telling like it is, Gail, and kind of loud sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't the type of traditional first lady to say.
Yeah, the first has, the proper, the...
No, that was not like, what's going
yeah,
on?
she's the hip first lady.
Let's put the chairs here. I'm going to put the chairs there.
Yeah.
So I was just being myself, just being Gail,
Mm-hmm.
and being a wife. And then, then it was like my husband, pastor. So I was like, what do I call him? Pastor, hubby, sweetie,
daddy, whatever. Whatever you want to call them, that's your hubby.
So, even with that, and then I had to share him, So it wasn't, women and men come in,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a jealous wife, I already knew I had my husband, my man. But it was still like, he would take time to talk with them after service. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking like, hello, this is
my time.
Our time.
Mm-hmm.
So I found it kind of hard at times. When he took time with them, I didn't get to understand it until later on. And then you have, I had women that would come to our church, and then you find out some were jealous of me.
Oh yeah. And you got that in church,
Yeah, and I didn't expect that. I thought everybody should Gail's a fun person.
Yeah, and I thought that too. That's probably where I get it from, because we're Care Bears, and you would think like, how can you not like me? Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. What about me? Right. Yeah.
And so, but what's funny though, because I've always worked with children, so I was known to talk to them like they were children.
Yeah.
So my husband had to put me straight about that. Because I would say the same thing over and over, trying to get them to understand what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And they said, what do you think of it? We children? So you're right. It took mentally, and then making mistakes. Wait a minute, I'm now with adults.
Yeah.
And I had to learn to, I'm with adults, learn to respect them and everything. My husband made sure he helped me to, do that.
And it's sometimes whether or not you're in that first lady position. I know even sometimes with my husband, shout out to Ronnie, I love you, baby. Just me being in the entertainment world and him also, having to share me with the world. It's almost the same thing. You don't really necessarily get jealous of that situation. You really, you have to adjust to it. So, I don't think it makes a difference, whether you're a first lady out there or you're somebody in the entertainment world, or however, it takes adjusting, but you guys have adjusted very well. You guys just celebrated your 20th.
Yeah,
20th. Yeah, your 20th. As a matter of fact, they celebrated it down here at our suite. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, but make sure you stay tuned to the retreatusa.com and make sure you get on over there and book your photography, photo shoots, and video shoots with Marquis Wilder of Key Touch Studios. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we have a surprise for Pastor Joseph and First Lady Gail. Don't go anywhere. Have you purchased your ticket yet to one of the hottest concerts coming to Indy? Well, get on over to eventbrite.com because January 24th, it's going down at the retreat for another episode of Soul Food and Jazz Sundays featuring the Lit Band. Make sure you also get on eventbrite.com and check out our concert coming January 31st featuring the sounds of Jeff Payne, Nika Harris, and the beautiful Tamika Key. Get on over to eventbrite.com. We are back live in the studio down at the 120 East Market Street building located inside of the retreat at Suite 705. Major shouts out to my co-producer of the show this evening, Marquis Wilder of Key Touch Studios. Make sure you get all of your booking needs for photography and videography over at theretreatusa.com. So before commercial break, I said that we wanted to give a surprise to my parents, aka Pastor Joseph Reaves Jr. and First Lady Gail Reaves of Greater Faith House of Prayer, sponsored on behalf of our company, Entrepreneurs United LLC. Sorry about that. We want to bless you guys with your first set of 2021 pastoral hoodies. Whoa. So we gotta get those to you. Make sure you stay tuned to their website, G.F.H.P.church.net, so you can get over there and see some of their online services that you may have missed. Take me really quickly back to, where did you first get your start being a pastor? I know we kind of went to Christian House of Prayer. Rest in peace to Bishop Nathaniel Holcomb, and shouts out to Valerie Holcomb. But I know that's who ordained you, but you were doing ministry even when you were in China, because he was a military army.
Actually,
in Korea. Okay, in Korea. So that's where you got your pastoral start.
Yeah, and so thinking about that was my first pastorate. Actually, I hadn't even had my license at that particular time. But the way that things were orchestrated over there, actually all the leadership, was transitioning back to the States, and the chaplain kind of called me in and said, hey, this upcoming Sunday is going to be your time. I heard you got a call, and so, I had to put my message together and everything, and from that moment on, Korea is a little different, you have, only a short term tour there, and so I was able to come home on my mid tour. It's kind of the midway through, the tour of duty, and I shared with Bishop, about what had happened over there in Korea, and he said, son, well, that the ministry is yours, that's what God is calling you to do.
Yeah.
And so, kind of immediately, if you will, got licensed, to be able to preach and to teach, God's word, and to do all the sacraments and all those different things. So it was something. But after I came home, when I came back home after that year, there were things that were being solidified that actually was what God had actually called me to do, was to preach His word. And so from that moment on, I was actually ordained and then released. And so it's I'll tell you, it's been something.
Yeah, because you came from Granddaddy. Granddaddy Reaves was also a pastor.
Yeah.
So it kind of just went down through the bloodline, and you didn't even know. Yeah, so I mean, just the Army life, combined with your pastoral services, has that been a rough exchange? Like, was there any moments where it was maybe too much for you, but you just stayed the course?
Actually, no. I would actually say that it actually brought balance in some ways to my life, because, looking at, being a soldier and a Christian, sometimes people were asking the question, how can you, how can you wear the uniform and still carry a weapon and all that type of stuff?
Yeah.
And I said, when you look at some of the stories in the Word of God, especially in the Old Testament, there were a lot that were, soldiers and different things in different armies, but they still trusted in God. And so it wasn't anything, outside of the norm for me. Was really kind of grateful for that, and having served, just a little bit over 26 years, of my life, was really a blessing.
Yeah.
And so I tell you right now, I wouldn't change any of it. Any of my experiences, that God has allowed me to go through, I wouldn't change anything. So being with this lady right here.
I know that's right. You better work it, mama. Mama, yes, y'all. And now I'm playing about my mama. So Y'all ladies stay back now. Now my daddy a little handsome little thing right here, but that's my mama's. I know, that's right. Yeah, so you went from being an army wife to a pastor's wife. So you've been in the army of the army and the army of the Lord with your pastor husband. So, you know, major strength and congratulations to both of you two. Make sure you stay tuned because we want to, we can't wait to be a part of First Lady Gail and some of the things that she has coming up. She does have a talk show of her own called The Gabby Gail Show. So make sure you stay tuned. I'll be doing some launching of her show on my website at soundsofshare.net. Make sure you guys don't go anywhere. I want to thank you two so much for being live in studio with me today. My parents, I'm super excited. I love them to pieces. God bless you both on your journey. And I can't wait to see what he has coming up for you guys this year. Make sure you don't go anywhere. You'll be able to catch this episode on soundsofshare.net.
Thank you.
You've been tuned in to another episode of Up Close, Unplugged, and Uncut. I'm your host, Sounds of Shar'e. Make sure you stay up to date with me by subscribing to my YouTube channel, Terry Crony, and get on over to my website, soundsofshare.net, and check out any episodes you may have missed. This episode is brought to you by The Retreat USA. For all of your event needs, get on over to theretreatusa.com. It's a vibe.